Gas was dismantling one of the last refueling stations up here on Route 1. And if I take you back 10 years ago, the Washington Gas had 20 refueling stations, and Baltimore Gas and Electric had 5 refueling stations and fleets of vehicles. And now they pretend like it never happened.
Can I respond to that?
Yes.
Yeah, you're talking about back in about 1991 or 2.
Yeah.
And I was on this at that time. I started in '88, and I worked with the utilities also. And we had a big meeting in Washington. And I told them, I said, if there's going to be leadership, then you, the utilities, have to provide the infrastructure for this to happen. And I did. I excited to do it. I can get it. I can draw a crowd, and I can get them to march out of the room with me, and we can go do something. And they did. They went out and built those stations. But the thing never caught on. It didn't catch on, and so the stations sit there. They're not used, and so they pull those compressors off of there and everything else and use them someplace else. And that's what happened. This time, it can't happen, though. And the reason I failed back in the 90s is because you had cheap oil, and it didn't have any help at all from Washington. Nothing. You were trying to do it all by yourself, and we couldn't get it done. But now you've got legs. You're going to get it done. We're going to have legislation, and I think that without a doubt, with the Army and with the pressure we put on, that Washington clearly sees you got to have a plan. The Chinese have a plan. They operate always with a plan, and we have no plan. Right. My dad said to me one time when he was concerned about my progress in college, he said, son, a fool with a plan can beat a genius with no plan. He said, your mother and I are concerned that you're a fool without a plan.
Right. Anyway, my question is, right as we speak, 3 of those stations that were functional that BG had operating are sitting there idle with the power turned off and all the equipment in place. What would it take to get them to put the power back on and put the hoses back on the dispensers?
What it will take is more people like you. Huh? They're going to have to see more customers come in there. That's the whole thing. That's what they'll tell you. You go to see them, they say, listen, if there are 100 people like you, we'd turn that on in a minute. So that it's now down to us. But I'm not telling you to go do what you did, because what you did, see, I fuel in my garage at home.
I don't have a garage.
You can put it out in the yard.
I don't have a yard.
I don't have a yard. But it's, natural gas is the most widely distributed fuel in America. It's up every street and down every alley. Yeah. And so all you have to do is just to put a small compressor on there, and you can fill your car up at night. And that's what I do. My fuel costs me $1 a gallon.